Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mom CEO podcast. My name is Lori Keaton, and my co host.
I'm Natalie, the Mom CEO coach.
And welcome to our podcast today. Today, we are so excited because we get to speak with the amazing Tamika Washington, the CEO of ConverSpace. So, Tamika is a coach, and she owns a consulting and business center for startups who need virtual and workspace solutions. She has been in business for 3 years, and now she's coming to the stage to share her journey with us. Welcome to the stage, Miss Washington.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We
Yes.
are happy to have you.
Yeah. Listen, you are OG to us. You in business for 3 years. We need you to pour all your information out on us today. So thank you for being here. Thank
Yes.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you all for the opportunity.
Awesome. So we're just going to jump right in right now, and we're going to just ask you to start and share your journey with us, how you came up with ConverSpace, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So 2018, I started blogging and I started podcasting. And I was talking about my faith journey as a mom and as a wife and different things that actually I was just going through, having babies at home, trying to work a 9 to 5 virtually. And so I started feeling like I was isolated from people. Like I needed to collaborate with women who were podcasting. And I really wasn't into social media. So it never ever dawned on me, hey, go join this group. I didn't know a lot of this stuff was happening on social media, to be honest, because I was off of social media for about 7 years. Didn't get on, I was on Facebook, started a business, was like, oh, this not working, ended that business and got off of Facebook for that long. So in 2018, when I started blogging, I was like, this is too much. I need people to connect with. And so I started researching co-working spaces. And I was like, you know what? This is how I'm feeling as a virtual worker, somebody who's working from home. I need to be around people. I need to collaborate. And I'm sure there are like-minded people who are feeling the same way. And so that started to spark the idea about ConverSpace. We came up with the name because when you go in coffee shops, especially big box coffee shops, a lot of times people are just focused. They don't want to talk. They're like in their laptop, drinking their coffee on their phone. And so nobody really wanted to talk unless it was somebody that you brought to the space, to the coffee shop with you. And I was like, this isn't for me. I need a place where people feel free to open their mouths and talk. And so we came up with Convert, out of conversation, and space, a space for people to collaborate and connect and create innovative solutions for their business. Started that and opened up our doors officially on Small Business Saturday, November 24th of 2018. And it was a soft launch because we ended up doing a pop-up shop. And that was how I was able to meet a lot of different people and started connecting with people. But I tell you, after that, the journey started getting tough. And so I jumped in excited. But I have to admit, I jumped in with all of my faith and I didn't have a plan to actually work the stuff. And so we're talking about opening a space, like operation cost didn't take any of that into consideration. Like, ooh, we just gonna open up this good business and everybody's gonna come and support because we're here.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. It didn't happen that way. We're still here, but I learned a lot of lessons over these past 3 years. And those are the lessons that when I sit down with business owners, I talk about understanding if you take a leap of faith, and we are all love Jesus, but you will not work Jesus to death because you did not plan to take that when you took that leap. Unless the Lord specifically said, go. When you took that leap of faith, you better have your backpack on that's going to open up this parachute. You better know where your landing pad is. You better make sure that the wind is blowing a certain kind of way so that you're not blown into the mountain. And so I share that with people because finances really, really took a hold on me mentally. in my marriage, my husband was like, wait a minute, you got to take how much money out of our savings account to do what? Because we bootstrapped our entire business. So none of this is of a loan, a bank loan. I literally took my entire savings and said, I'm going to place this. I'm going to invest in this business. And we're still here today, reaping that and the benefits of that investment now that I have the lessons under my belt. So I always say, plan. Even if you're taking the leap, it's not that you're saying I'm having a plan B. What you're saying is I'm going to put the work in to show my faith. I'm gonna put some action behind my faith. And so that's where we are today. We're still here. I'm excited because we're growing, and I have truly become a CEO. So I love you saying you're the mom CEO coach, because I stepped out of the role of an entrepreneur last year, and I moved into becoming the CEO and making sure that I was making decisions that CEOs would make.
You see us, we just like, let the glory fall, because you said a lot and we're trying to figure out where we go next with it.
No, I know where I'm going. You said you have transitioned from an entrepreneur into a true CEO. So what do you think that difference is? How do you think your mind has to shift to go between just an entrepreneur to a true CEO?
So as an entrepreneur, I was hustling. I'm not going to lie. Like every person that wanted to use this space, because my mindset was, I got to make this money to cover all these bills. And so, I'm going to be honest. We had a modeling company. They were like, oh, we want to do a photo shoot in your space. And I was like, okay. So I stayed. The Lord was like, stay. And I stayed. And they were literally like in the open space. We have big windows, and they were dressed in lingerie. And I'm sitting here, and he was like, I need you to see something. That's why I told you to stay. So I'm sitting here like, this is inappropriate. One of the ladies was like, I don't feel comfortable. I said, go put some clothes on. And so I had to stop accepting every business, everybody's money.
Wow.
Everybody's money. I was at a point where I was accepting everybody's money. Oh, you want to have? Yes. Yep. Come on. Because I was in hustle mode. Like, we got to cover these bills. And because I didn't plan for the money. And so I didn't plan for how we were going to be making money. I didn't plan for when the money comes in to tell my money where to go. It literally was coming in, and it was paying bills. So that's all that was happening the first 6 to 8 months of our business. It was, the money was coming in. Oh yeah, anybody can have an event here. Yep, y'all can stay out all night out on the patio and do. But my mindset was, I got to make money. I got to make money, because that's what people talk about all the time in business, how much money they're making. And so money became my God, because I was doing everything to make the money. And then the second thing of the entrepreneur mindset was, I was serving everybody. So the people who wanted to come in here and drink and act crazy at their parties, yeah, you can have a party here. My brand is a business center. It is not the party space. It is not we have people that have little small events here and there, but I don't ever post those things. I make sure we post everything related to business. So then I'm accepting everybody's money. I'm letting everybody come in here. So I'm opening up my target market to everybody. Wow. That's the second thing. And the third thing was, I wasn't planning at all. I literally was in hustle mode and just selling. And I never stopped, sat down and had a plan. I hired somebody. Hey, can you consult my business? They literally almost consulted us out of business. They took every dime of ours and said, hey, we'll post on your social media. And for the entire month of March, they posted a bunch of quotes to inspire female entrepreneurs. But I didn't know any better. I signed that contract. And so I had to stick with them until the end of that contract. My shift came, I want to say it was November of 2019. I spoke at a women's conference, And November of 2019, God said, you either shift your mindset and let your faith actually operate the way it's supposed to, or you keep telling yourself that you can't do this, that you're tired, that you're overwhelmed, that you're overworked, that nobody's buying from you. He said, you keep telling yourself that, or you either shift. And once I did that, I came up with a very concrete plan of how I was going to market my business, how I was going to start counting up the costs in our business. So we sat down and started looking at what's coming in, what's going out, what's coming in, what's going out. And then I started to say, what does a CEO do? They look for partnerships. They look for collaborations. And God started sending partnerships that paid, partnerships that was taking care of bills, partnerships that actually was giving us exposure nationwide. And so he said to me, I'm shifting you from your neighborhood into a national marketplace. You're no longer called to serve the people in your neighborhood. You've got to expand. And so I realized then I had to shift my mindset. And so we started looking at our finances very closely, because my husband got to a place, he said, you can't take no more money out of this. We are drained, Tamika. Like, you can't take any more money out of this. And so I had to start positioning myself differently. Marketing, I had to start marketing my business differently. I had to come up with, what is the message that we're going to do? And then God started saying, you can't do everything. So you can't be the janitor. You can't be the marketing person. You can't be the person looking at finances. Who are the people that you need to work in this business? And so he sent one person. I was like, I can't do this all by myself. He sent one person, and they literally helped us carry the business. And then he said, let them go. In 2020, I started to change the structure of my business. And that, when I really started to say, the model that we thought we were here for, this isn't working for us. COVID came and everybody was shutting down. We closed our physical doors, but the number of clients that we had started coming ridiculously, because I had somebody sit down and work on our SEO. I wasn't doing this website no more. Tell me what I need to do, what needs to happen on our website. So our Google numbers started hitting high, and the calls were coming in left and right and left and right. And God said, I told you to prepare for the team. Who are the people who are going to handle the influx of customers that are coming? So I hired my first official staff person in September of 2020. And God said, sit down. And I sat down, and he said, when is the last time you took money out of your home bank account? And I was like, the beginning of 2020. He said, yes, you've been working so hard this long that you didn't even realize that I had sent the people to cover all the bills during this time, all the things that you used to stress about. And so another shift started happening. When I hired that first person, I'm not gonna lie, we was paying over the table and under the table. Yes, we're gonna put you on a 10, not whatever that 10 number is, and I'm gonna pay you. I said, no, you got to do it the right way. You need to put them on payroll. And I was like, where we get this money from? So now I have 2 official staff members on payroll, and I only outsource things like our marketing, our communications, and any other small things. Like, I just hired a new admin person. So I outsource those things, but my in-house people, they are actually on payroll. I started looking at my numbers. I started looking at the money very hard. Like, we literally look at where's this penny going? And then I started looking at my onboarding process for my clients and my staff. So now I have 2 interns that are actually working on our client journey to make sure that we are actually touching our customers at every point and giving them what they need. And then they're also working on how do we onboard employees and exit them from the company, and what does that process look like, to make sure we have all of our paperwork in order, all their applications and all of those things. And then when they leave, exit interviews and all of that. God said, this is not just a regular business, because the vision that he's given me for 2022 it's going to require me to bring on more staff. And so that's why I had to start making those shifts with payroll, with HR related stuff, with outsourced in marketing, because entrepreneurs do everything. And not the CEO sits at the table and
Come on.
makes decisions. And so when you are at the head of the table, you don't have time to be doing the social media marketing. You don't have time to be doing the financial stuff. So my husband now handles all financial things related to this business. Contracts, he handles all the what's coming in, send the invoices. God said, get even email addresses for everybody, because everything can't come to you anymore. We just invested yesterday. I was on a call all afternoon with a company who is literally going to do our entire internal system over, so that everything is housed in one platform. So that my team, it's easy for them to maneuver, and it makes us look more professional.
Right.
This got my word for September, October, November, December has been tighten up, tighten up your systems, tighten up your processes, tighten up how you handle your staff, tighten up your communication. He said, because that's what a CEO does. They sign they're just the last signature on the piece of paper. They don't even come up with the whole process. They look it over, they make recommendations if necessary, but they are literally the last signature on the paper. And he said, that's the position that I'm putting you in. You the final yes, no, and your signature, and that's that. And when I shifted in that mindset, I started giving myself a schedule so I can go to pick up my daughter from school, and I'm not bound to a job. I can go and I can make decisions, and for my staff, and y'all come in, y'all can take the day off, I'll come in and work. Like, I've been starting to make better decisions for the business, because I'm not doing all the work anymore.
Yes.
Anymore. I make the final decision. Are we going to go into this? And God is like, I want your face as the final say so. So when you go to the bank and they say, we're going to give you X amount of money in your credit line, it's you and your husband, because I named him the CFO. Oh, you're going to get a role in this business. You're the CFO. So every financial decision that's made, people might not like it, and I don't care, but he makes the final say so when it comes to the money, and when it comes to the operations and the overall structure. That's all me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It was hard letting go a lot of stuff. But I'm at such peace. I sleep at night. The only time I'm waking up is when God is telling me to go pray, or when 1,000 ideas are running through my head about something. But I'm not sleeping. I'm not having restless nights anymore about business. I'm not having restless nights anymore about staff. Like, the people that I have now, one of them had to leave and go and do something different. But God had already said, I need you to come back in the office for a couple of days a week anyway. He was like, because the people need to see your face. They need to see that this is still your business. They need to see that you still run and operate this business. And so it worked out just fine. But in the past, that would have stressed me out. But it didn't, because God had already told me that was going to happen.
Yeah. And that's so funny, because we just talked to a corporate coach, and she said that's the disconnect between a lot of big corporations and how their businesses run, is that the head usually is disconnected from their employees. So the fact that God brought you back in the building to keep, that connection, it's so powerful, because she said that makes a big difference when it comes to company culture.
Yeah.
So living out what she just was, speaking to us about prior. So that was good. Go ahead, Lori. I know I have something to say.
No, it was actually just what for some odd reason, I worked in every company that we're interviewing today, because in our last interview, I worked in a toxic environment. In this interview, I worked in every type of company culture, I think, over my life. But I worked for an organization, and it was the complete opposite of what you just said. She had her staff in place. She had good staff in place, but she was never there. People will always ask questions, and we were always the front person. And the person that was running the program would say, I wish that she was here more, because this is her program, not mine. It's her program. She needs to be the one that's accountability. If the parent had an issue and they wanted to talk to somebody, that she would be at home or with her kids or something like that, but she would send a message through us. They don't want to speak to us. They want to speak to the person who is in charge. So that is so important. Just making sure that you're present and making sure that people know who you are. And even though you might not be on site all the time, they need to know who the owner or the founder is, because that's important. At the end, the buck stops with you, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm rereading, because I started and then I stopped. EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. And he talks a lot about company culture, and that when we're called to lead a company, we've got to focus on employee development and things like that. And so I'm like, Lord, I would always, why am I reading this and why am I putting this together? And he said, because you're not running a small business.
Exactly.
This is something bigger than a small business. And even in our professional look, he was like, yeah, you can be personal, but a corporation, you're not seeing, all these faces, and you're seeing the people who have positions, but you're seeing what the company's all about. So we're even getting ready to do an overhaul on our website. Like, we're switching it up to make it look more corporate and less personal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm so excited. I was like, Lord, I'm about to hand this tab to you, because this is big. But he said it's necessary for where you got to go.
It is. Yeah. It is.
That's I love it. Come on, ConverSpace. I'm ready for the level up.
So ready.
Because I had a conversation with Natty not too long ago, and I was just like, when people come in contact with me, I want them to have an experience, whether it's a client or an employee. I want them to have an experience. I don't know what that experience looks like or feels like just yet, because the Lord hasn't downloaded it, but I know he'll give it to me. But that's so important. When people engage with you, they have an experience when they
absolutely.
And so that just resonated with me like a whole lot, because even though you know where you're going, you know that it's going to take a little bit of redirection and, moving some things out the way and doing things differently in order to get to that. But I don't think a lot of people have the mindset that in order to grow, things are going to have to change. You're going to have to shift. And that's a limitation when you're dealing with business. You can't you can't grow and expect things to stay the same. So that is a lot.
It is. I am just in awe of your whole story. I'm like, wow, it is such a beautiful story of like triumph and trials at the same time. Yeah. And it's like you're walking through it all by faith.
Yeah. So I mean, literally. And it's funny because, and it's not funny, but my old church leaders, they came because I asked them to come and pray over my space in the new year. And so they came and had lunch with me and my family. And the bishop got to the door and he said, this was January 2019. He said, Tamika, you think that this space is going to be one thing. He said, but God wanted me to tell you that it's going to be something totally different, and it's going to blow your mind, that it's nothing that you even thought about. And so over God brought that back to my remembrance this year. He said, remember, you wanted this so bad to be a co-working space. I tell entrepreneurs a lot, your passion can only pay you a profit if you have a plan for it. So we get caught up in passion. Oh, I'm so passionate about doing this. I'm so passionate about helping these kind of people. And God said, you don't have a plan for the passion, Tamika. It's not going to make you any money. And so I was so passionate about a co-working space. Like, I'm to the point where I was going to go broke in this business in order to maintain it. Because one, I had a lot of pride. See, sometimes passion can bring pride. Like, we're so prideful that we don't want to let a thing go. Because we're so passionate about it that it never, ever grows. And there's some things that we have to push to the side and say, I don't have a plan for this to grow. And it literally, it was dying before my eyes, y'all. God allowed it to resurrect into a bud, a tiny bud, so that he could show me the magnitude of what he could do if I would just release and let go. And I had to do that. I had to release the co-working space, y'all, because in my head, I was like, listen, I'm going to be this jam up Black owned co-working space in Columbia, South Carolina. They're going to know my name. And God is like, it's not going to grow. Let it go. He gave me a glimpse of, like, I actually started having co-working members show up, and I was so excited. And he gave me a glimpse of it because people were signing up left and right. But he said, it's only going to grow into a bud because that's not what you're going to be doing. Like, you can't turn a co-working space into a corporation. You can't. And so I had to stop. I had to let it go because I was so passionate about the creatives that were working out of this space. And I was so passionate about them. I almost went broke, y'all. I did. I was in the whole negative $1,000 every month, couldn't figure out how to get out of them. And he said, you don't have a plan for the passion. And so it's not yielding any profit. And so I had to let that thing go. When I dropped that thing, the weight literally was shaking. And that was another mindset shift. And see, as business owners, we have to understand you're going to go through several mindset shifts in business. Like your mind is going to be shifting all the time because you can't stay in an old mindset in order to make the thing happen. And I had to shift. So I don't even talk about co-working, but people will come and say, is this a co-working space? No, it's not. It's a business center. We help people get their mailboxes, and you can come take a look at these offices in here. Oh, you need to meet with a client, you come in this conference room. But no, this open space is not used for co-working anymore. I might have a co-working event, but that's it. It's not a space. And when I changed that, it was like weights were lifted off. And it's just funny because people who were competing against me in this city, they called me to find out, what is it that you're doing to stay in business? And God said, don't tell them. You asked them, they didn't help you. And it's not that you have the secret sauce. He said, I got the secret sauce.
Come on.
He said, I'm the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce. And he said, and they won't receive that. So that's what it is.
Woo!
They call, I get messages in my inbox. What is it that you do? Oh, I've sent a couple of clients your way. Can you come and show me how to set up XYZ? God said, don't tell them.
You said God is the secret sauce, and they don't want him.
They don't want him.
They can't have the secret.
Yep.
Listen, this is the Mom CEO podcast, and we are, giving you guys the nuggets, the gems on how to take your business to the next level. We are here with Tamika Washington, founder of ConverSpace, soon to be founder of ConverSpace Corporations, and she is just laying it all out on the line, and we thank you.
Yes. And thank you, because I almost threw my laptop. Y'all throwing phones. I'm almost throwing my laptop.
Yeah. And I do, I have started, y'all, literally being very conscious of the words that I say, because I used to say it all the time. Oh, I'm so passionate about people coming in and working in the space, and it's so good, and it's so good. And God was like, that ain't sending you a paycheck, darling. You don't have a plan for it. That's one of the things that trips us up in business, is that we get so caught up in making the money that we don't have a plan. And in one of the clubhouse rooms, Star said it a couple of weeks ago, you got to tell your money where to go. So see, money was just going to bills.
Yeah.
And part of the mindset that I had to shift was I had to invest in coaching.
Yeah.
I had to invest in systems that were actually big systems. Like, we literally just made a huge investment in a brand new system. I had to shift my mindset that this was going to break me. Instead, God was like, no, it's not going to break you. It's going to take you to the next level. And so we got to get over that hump that I'm spending money. No, you're investing money. And if you do it right, you can get a return on your investment. Because at one point in time, I was buying a bunch of systems and nothing was working. Because I just bought what people were saying. Oh, buy this, try this, buy this, try this. And so I was just buying a lot of stuff and nothing was really yielding a return. And so what I do now is at the end of the year, God said, put a practice in place where you cut off, you go through your numbers really tight and you get rid of everything that's not serving you. Get rid of every system that's not serving you, because people, we buy stuff and we forget. But those things add up. We're talking to like $100, $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year in a system that you've been buying and putting money in, and you don't even use it properly or to the full. But he also told me free. Stop doing free. And stop doing, because people will go to every free thing and they won't apply. And I was in that place where I was, you see them Facebook ads of, I got this free masterclass, or I got this downloadable. And I was doing that. I was downloading free. And he said, you're not putting any action behind it. So you've been wasting time. And so time is very precious of how we spend it, which is why I even had to get in the mode of, I take a whole day and I plan what's going to happen in this business. And so those are just some of the key things that helped me to shift in that role. I wanted to do something this year to work on, people talk a lot about like your business credit, your LLC stuff. And I was like, what do I need to do? God said, call your accountant. I called her and she said, you do nothing this last quarter. She said, do absolutely nothing, because I want to show you your owner's draw. And I was like, what is that? She said, that's the amount of money that you have in the bank. At the end of the year, you can decide what you're going to take to pay yourself, or you can leave it in the bank, put it back in your business. You can leave it in the bank for your savings. And when she showed me my owner's draw, I was at the fair with my children. I had a meltdown. And I said, God, I've been literally working this is what this is. I don't boast about money in business at all. People boast about 5K months, 10K months. And I understand some people aren't boasting. They're literally celebrating. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not for me. But I never, ever saw a place where I thought we would actually be making six figures in business. And when she went over that with me, I was at the fair and I literally felt like, God, thank you. And he said, this is your third year. I told you it was a significant year. I told you that there were going to be some different things happening in your business. I told you there were going to be some different things happening with you spiritually. I told you, this is why I've been telling you to stay in position, stay on your post. Make sure that you're counting up the cost, exercise your faith, use my grace. That's what it's for. It's sufficient. It's exceedingly and abundantly. And sitting there listening to my accountant, because I'm not doing my numbers myself. I'm not the numbers person. She literally said, get rid of everything that's not serving you in your business. And God said the same exact thing. She said, get rid of it. She said, if there's something that you can do yourself that's going to add to your business, just do it. Do it and write everything down. So when the person takes it over, it's now the training manual for them. And that's what I've just been doing this last month. I haven't rolled out these new programs, and I've just literally been planning for the next. Planning for the next. And God is like, it's not going to be heavy. It may be frustrating. You might be getting tired. You might get weary. He said, but it's not going to be heavy, and it's not going to be difficult if you just do it the way I've been telling you to do it.
Wow.
Tamika, where can we find you? Because we need to stay, all these mom CEOs, dad CEOs, kid CEOs, everybody, we need to find you and stay connected to you, because you are an ever-flowing well of information and knowledge. And listen, where can we find you, girl?
I can be found on Instagram. That's my main place. I love Instagram. At I am Tamika L. And then, of course, on Clubhouse, you can also find me there as well, at I am Tamika L.
And do you have any special things going on that you would want people to know about?
Yes, so we are getting ready to do a masterclass, and yes, it is free. We're doing a masterclass. So you want to start a profitable business. This isn't just so you want to start a business. This is really about you helping entrepreneurs understand what does it take to start a profitable business. We're digging into things like your messaging, your marketing. We're digging into things about understanding how to attract the right clients. We're digging into things about understanding your financial the portfolio of things, what you need to be looking at. And so we're going to do a deep dive into some of those areas. We have a workbook that'll be going along with it so that people can download it. And as we're going through the masterclass, they can take notes. But this is all about making sure that we create profitable businesses as well. And so I'm excited about it. It'll happen on November the 9th, and it'll be from 7 to 8:30. So I'm going to keep the folks for an hour and a half, but this is going to be a deep, deep training to help people get their business to where it needs to be, because we can't just start businesses. We've got to look at, is our revenue going to bring us a profit? Bottom line. I mean, God has called us to be able to create wealth. I mean, wealth in business is all throughout the word of God. And so we have to make sure that we're just not starting and opening up LLCs and just letting it sit there.
Wow.
We're actually doing the work that we need to do to grow it so we can make a profit.
Wow. Y'all better sign up for that masterclass.
I know, we look like
sign up for the masterclass.
Information. Yeah, sign up for the masterclass. I already signed up.
I'm signing up as soon as I log off.
I am there. I don't care. She be like, free. Yes, I am there. Whatever Tamika Washington has, because this woman, listen, your voice, the information, the knowledge, the wisdom. Like, you don't just have knowledge, you have wisdom because you went ahead of us and you went through it and you came out on the other side. And you don't brag, like you don't brag about it. Like, you on Instagram just humbly just like, this is who I am, dropping these gems, and we like, oh, so you really like, you walking what you talking. And so we thank you for doing that, and thank you for showing up here and just gracing us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me. This is what I love to do. And God always says it's a call, and I'd be like, no, it ain't. Oh, I'm not doing this. But this is what I love doing this. I love doing this. I absolutely love this because I want to see people win.
Yes.
I want to see people leave legacy for their children and their children's children. Come on. I want to see people win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too. Well, until next time on the Mom CEO podcast, y'all tune in. I'm excited for who we got next because it's just heavy hitters, one after the other.
Heavy hitters. Yes. Not an understatement. Facts with a period. Okay.
All right, y'all. Until next time. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, beautiful people. My name is Natalie Lee Martin, and I want to welcome you to the working weekend. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. The name has officially changed. So let me reintroduce this. Let me do this introduction all over again. Hey, beautiful people. My name is Natalie Lee Martin, and I am the Mom CEO Coach, and I want to welcome you officially to Fresh Manna, the Worship Weekend. It's wrecking season, y'all. Listen, God has been wrecking our plans, and he has been redoing everything. So let me officially tell you that the working weekend has been changed to the worship weekend. Why? Simply put, because God said so. That's it. God said so. Lauren and I have been planning this working weekend for quite some time. And it was really Tamika Washington who gave us lit a fire under us and said, go ahead, Laura, we start this working weekend. And so we did. But midway through creating our own plans and putting our own blueprint together, God dismantled and wrecked everything. And it's because he wants us to do business his way. So we have officially relaunched the worship weekend. This is a weekend where we are going to get direct download from heaven on how to do business God's way. We are no longer looking to the world and looking to everything that's going on in the culture to dictate how we do business, but we are looking at God in heaven and using him as our authority in the marketplace. So join us February 18th to the 21st as we lay prostrate before the King of Glory, as we welcome him into the marketplace. Fresh Manna, the worship weekend, February 18th to the 21st. God is in need of your business to bring him glory in the marketplace. Join us. We cannot wait to see you there.